I will start preparing opening repertoire for white. After analyzing my games previously played on chess.com, I have come to the conclusion that my opening repertoire is very rusty. I, especially with white pieces, I never uh, achieve a good position with white. Usually, I would have either barely equal position or inferior one. So I will start remedying this problem today and will continue to do it on my subsequent streams. So we'll use Lichess for our research because chess.com requires us to pay in order to use their opening explorer. And I don't want to do that because I would like to help you also uh, by showing you how I prepare for the openings. And I don't want to force anyone to use money to pay for something that is readily available for free online. Uh, so, okay, without further ado, let us start analyzing the openings. And as I choose moves, I will explain the rationale a bit for my decision. So, at the start of the game, we can open with d4, e4, c4 is also a good move, knight f3, and these are the best moves to play to open the game as white. Others are not so good. For white, today, the best way to open is, in my opinion, e4. There are only two openings that give black. Actually, only one opening gives black equal chances and problem-free game, and that's c5. Every other opening requires precise play by black, and in those positions, black must invest more effort than white to keep the balance. Still, e5 is very solid and requires a lot of theory to be known. Because if you answer with knight f3, which is the best choice at the moment, you must be prepared for the Petrov, which is not that theoretical, but I don't know. Okay, it's okay. You can play against it. It's not much of a problem. But after knight c6, one really needs to take care because Italian is not so toothless as was preached during my active years. Because, say, I don't know, something like this. Here, even castling is risky because black can play h6 coupled with, let's play some stupid move, with g5 at some point launching the attacks. We need to know when you can cancel and when you need to refrain from it. Second, it's the only reason why it is alive today, why it got resurrected from the obscurity, is because white can still play a Ruy Lopez setup with c3, knight d2, let's say castles, I don't know, let's play some random move, and this plan can be played. So that's the reason why they took Italian, and it's it's it doesn't allow Berlin defense. So you need to learn now a lot of theory with the Italian, and you need to watch out for many sacrifices that exist. Uh, for example, okay, let's continue on this example. Just random moves. Okay, H3. There are a lot of lines where you need to know if black can sacrifice on H3 or not. And these are also dangerous, require a lot of work to memorize, and I don't want to do this because right now, when I was active, I had 2000 FIDE elo. I believe I have improved a lot since then. It's been 15 years. So I think I have at the very least 2100 or 2200 elo strength now. And when you reach 2000 elo, 2100, focusing your energy on the openings really isn't optimal because there are so many things that you need to work on in your game that will be much more important during the game rather than being so focused on the opening. And that's something that Hikaru Nakamura also confirmed in one of his speedruns. Uh, when you are at this level of play, there are so many holes in your game, so many things that can be ironed out. That really, if you get 0.6 advantage in the opening due to your flaws in the game, you won't be able to convert. I mean, even 0.8 is not a guarantee that you will simply convert that advantage into victory. Because endgame knowledge is very basic. Tactical strength maybe can be decent, but it's not that strong. Knowledge of pawn structures, well, okay, you can know some of them, but it's not very deep. You don't understand them, you know, but it's very big difference between knowing what to do and being actually able to do it, especially correct, to do it efficiently. So instead of going for d4 and simply drilling my brain with volumes of lines, I will try to take something modest that will give me solid position and a playable position where it is not dry, that it will not peter out into a draw. So e4 is out of my book. I will not use e4 as the first move. d4 is nice. It gives much slower game, but it is subpar compared to e4. Why? On e4 you had only c5 to worry about. It is the only defense that gives black equal chances, and you really need to know your stuff. Petrov is solid, but black has no real counterplay. Black cannot attack you. Lancer God 123, welcome to the stream. Game analysis. Well, after this opening preparation, if I have enough strength, or if you're willing, I can analyze some games or your games, my games, whatever. What I'm trying to say is this stream, this channel was never meant to be some sort of curriculum. Like if I said that I'm going to prepare the opening, then I will mainly plan to prepare the opening. But if we agree that we do something else, we can do something else. It's not a big deal. I hope I have answered your question. So we can do whatever we want. Right now I'm in the mood of preparing the opening, but I do not exclude analyzing games, or can just hang out and talk about some other things if you like. Okay, let us continue with building our repertoire for white. D4, okay, yeah, so on E4, every other opening, yeah, that's right, that's right. If you send me a PGN, I can analyze the game together with you, we can talk about it. Okay, so E4, yeah, so on E4, that's the only opening that can give you a problem, Sicilian. D4 is not so easy because you have many Indian defenses that are very sharp to play. They are very sneaky because they offer white space advantage, and I'm guilty of that myself. White easily gets tricked into overextend, and black can simply demolish you, literally obliterate you in one swift counterattack. Like 2 or 3 moves, position completely changes for 180 degrees, and you just sit there, scratch your head, asking yourself what the hell went wrong. And I haven't found a way to uh, simplify the positions efficiently. Sadly, black always has enough resources to make the position dynamic and to get compensation for his cramped position, usually by performing the C5 liberating break. So because of that, also you need to be very versatile regarding your mood, if I can say it like that, because Indian defenses will become tactical, become semi-open. But then you have Queen's Gambit declined, that is much more closed, much more maneuvering oriented, and it's hard to maintain a repertoire and the fighting spirit for both styles. Sometimes you will come tired from work, sometimes you will actually want to fight, but your opponent might play Queen's Gambit declined and simply stifle the game. Also, we need to take into account this Corona, COVID state. You cannot play slow games now. Today, playing 2-hour game with human beings live, meaning that your opponent sits across you at a table, is impossible. Now we can only play blitz. Chess.com, Lichess, any other website usually are tailored for the blitz games, 5-minute games, 10-minute games. So tailoring your repertoire for long games right now won't cut it. And in blitz, it is very good to have a couple of first moves already prepared, something that you can play regardless of what your opponent plays. That is why I won't go with the d4. A lot of theory, a lot of sharp Indian defenses. I don't like it. c4 is something that I could consider, but it requires deep strategical knowledge, because most of the time they will reply with e5, playing the reverse Sicilian, and in those positions, playing early knight f3 actually benefits black, and sometimes the nuances are so small but so important that you can reach the exactly same and you have extra tempo, you actually have no. I don't want to debate such positions with higher rated players who can outplay me without giving me any chance to fight back. So c4 also uh, is discarded because there is a lot of transpositions included. It's very hard. For example, c4, knight f6, knight c3, g6. For example, black hopes for d4 and playing the Greenfield defense, but white can also play e4, completely stop playing d5. And as white, I would now if my opponent is out of his favorite opening, that he is out on in the unfamiliar territory, but high-rated opponents usually prepare 2 or 3 openings for black. So he might play e5 or c5, aiming to reach some king defense structure. And now I have to prepare theory for both Greenfield, for King's Indian. It's a lot of work with c4, not to mention that after c4, e5, you need to prepare the positions for the open Sicilian with the colors reversed, and you need to actually work a lot on the middle games because, as I have said, simply being white, simply having an extra tempo can take away advantage from you. So I'm reluctant to play c4 as my first move. Yeah, this is the fan. Let's give it a go. Why not? Tools. There is board editor, clear board, and if we paste it, this is the position where black is completely winning. Let me see. Analysis board. Okay. Anything? Don't even have to think. Just checkmate easily. Are you certain that this is the correct fan? Is that the position that you wanted to take a look? Because this, to me, oh, for the whole game you need the PGN. You need the PGN for the whole game. You can paste a link if it's on chess.com or Lichess or any other website. While we wait, we can get back to the opening play. So take your time, Laser God. It's okay. Do not hurry. So I have decided to play something like this. With g3. Okay. Great. This is the whole game. Okay, give me a second. Okay, will hit. Jesus. A second, please. Yeah. Okay. No, there is a part of the game still missing. Okay, it's missing. I have first 20 moves. No way that position arose after 20 moves. So let's try it like this. Give me a second. If I recall correctly, we can do this. New paste. Okay. Okay. And somewhere around here, just need to. Okay. If I do it like that, like this. Okay. Here is the deal. Laser God. I don't have the entire fan pasted, the entire PG pasted in chat. So here is what you'll do. you can Google paste bin, simply paste bin, and go there. And here, just paste the entire PGN. Just paste it, and click on the create new paste. Okay? Or you can do it like this. Okay, I'll take it. Ah, nice, chess.com. Okay, now let's take a look. Okay, yeah. Knight c3. Okay, not the best, not the worst. It's too early to play with the knight because you want to keep this c4 option open to have the stronger grip on the center. Not a bad move. You can play it, but knight is slightly early. It got out early. But when you play this type of moves with the knights, you have one good benefit for you. You can change the pawn structure the way you like. So here, okay. Sorry, I'm commenting. Okay. So white can play e4. I would go for e4 as white and transpose into e4 systems because there this knight can be well placed. So this is an early commitment of the knight, something that you might exploit to get to equalize. Okay, d6 is fine. Knight f6, good move. You keep your options open. You play the move that it can help you control the center and you don't hinder any of your pieces. Just fine. Great. Let's continue. e4. Yeah, just as I have said, he wanted to trick you via transposition tricks, and then he didn't achieve much. Okay, d6. You might play the Pirc defense, but you might also create the King's Indian setup. But I wouldn't go for it. Why Pirc isn't played at the highest level? Because this bishop, can be placed on this square. And usually in the King's Indian, the pawn stands here and obstructs the bishop. So pressure on this diagonal is not that strong. But in the Pirc defense, white has the option of putting this bishop on c4, and that guy is nasty. That's why you will see the Pirc defense played at the top level. So I think he will play bishop c4 at some point. He played d4 if he is any competent. If he prepared himself, he most likely will play bishop c4. He tried to trick you. He saw that it didn't work, so he will probably say, okay, I'm elastic enough, I can switch back to the systems that I like to play. g6, okay, you will probably go for the Pirc. Not bad, but due to bishop c4, as I have explained earlier, you need to be careful, you need to prepare your opening. You cannot simply get by on the general principles, because there are some lines that are very tricky for black. Bishop c4, yeah, so obvious, of course. A good move, good move. So let me see something. Do we have knight e4? Knight e4. Okay, I would like to use engine here for analysis, and I'll explain why. We can explain why. Because this is a trick that I want to show you that is very actually good for you, if it works, and this is what we are going to test. So he played knight c3. This is good for him. He develops his pieces, but his center is loose. His center of the board is, oh, you see, I'm reading your mind. Okay, knight e4 is a thematic hit in many e4 systems, not only in this opening. So always watch out for that as black because it helps you equalize. So we have, let's see, 94. Usually bishop f7. Yeah, bishop f7, he has a slight advantage. What does he? 0.28, that's nothing. So 94 does work. Okay, take, and you will play king g8 or king g7 at some point. But let me see now what can we do. Knight c6. Okay, that's the strongest, but I don't like it because we need to secure our king as soon as possible. Bishop g7. Bishop g7 is something that I like. But actually, it threatens knight g5. Both of these are annoying to deal with. Okay, you can go knight e4, and you need to prepare this. This is only fourth move, so this is the opening. You need to prepare your openings, especially Pirc's defense. It is not something that you can play on general principles. I would like to play bishop g7, but let me see, why knight c6? What? This move, okay, you control these squares, but these are not important. What do we do? d4, okay, d5. Knight c6, so he doesn't have knight e5. Now you can take. Okay, that was the point of knight c6. I get it. So when you play knight e4, you want to play d5 at some point, and d5. d5, most of the time, you really need to play this move. Usually, I'm trying to form a general rule. d5 is good for you and is a desirable push. So computer took into account taking on e4, and before d5 he preemptively decided to play knight c6. He gives quite small advantage, and if you are a top GM this would be dangerous. But since we are until you reach 2400 PDL, you don't care about this. So you can easily play this position. Let's play it out. A little. Okay, castles, okay. d5, can I play it? Yes, I can. Knight c5, can I play e5? Yes, I can. I like that move. d4. I like this move. Also, b takes c5. I have the center of the board, but I have big dark squares. Okay, rook e8. He plays bishop g5. This is annoying. Queen d7, queen d2. Okay, it's playable, but okay, let's bypass knight e4 for now. It is a move that you can play, but it's too early. It's too early, I guess. It's too early, and it's been a long time since I have played Pirc's defense, so I couldn't assess properly if it was the right moment. Yeah, your king feels so unsafe, and you will be. I mean, the problem with this move after this 94 is that I don't see a clear plan for black. So, and if we are not big players, don't let people tell you that you're, I don't know, stupid, that you don't understand, whatever. You're a human being. You're just smart enough to play good chess. So, if you don't see immediate plan, like how will I continue? What are my next two moves? Then that move you should aim to discard it. And this is my problem. Okay, computer says that it works. Now look at his evaluation, 0.29, and before it was 0.50, whatever. Computer changes its evaluation. It doesn't matter. The problem here that I see for black is that if I ask you, okay, what are your next two moves? You cannot. What is your plan? What are you aiming for? What do you want to do? What will you try to achieve? I don't think you will be able to tell me. I don't see what to do here. My king is Not safe, I need to finish development. Okay, I can play something like this in rook e8, but these squares are weak. Also, my light squares are weak, and my king is slightly naked, slightly exposed. It's not safe, it's not easy for black. He will be the one who will have to invest more energy, more effort to maintain the balance. We always want to avoid such positions because they lead towards pressure, and human beings crack under pressure. Computers don't. They don't care if they cannot hit back for 50 moves or even more. Human beings have that problem that if they have no counterplay, if we cannot fight back, we crack very fast. And you can see this in the top games as well. You see Kasparov or Carlsen, everybody say when they are interviewed, I just want to get pressure, to put pressure on my opponent, because no matter how strong you are, you can be the best player in the world. If you are placed under pressure, you fall. And Kasparov shared a neat advice, something that really helped me to improve. If you can put your opponent under pressure in 10 consecutive moves, he will blunder. A piece, a checkmate, something. So if you can play 10 consecutive moves, always pressuring your opponent, he will blunder. That's something that Kasparov determined empirically, and I'm inclined to trust him because he's one of the best players of all time. So in this position, I agree with you. Your king is not safe, and I see no obvious plan for black. So 94 would be premature, but definitely something to keep an eye on, because that counter attack in the center can be very effective. So bishop g7. Okay. Yeah, castle. Let me see. 94 now. Can I play it? No, it's still early. Yeah, we have the same problem. Okay. d3. Okay, now he protects against 94. But now his knight is committed too early for these structures. Actually, now your bishop is very powerful. I like this bishop because look at these pieces on the long diagonal. They are actually shaky. They're not that well protected. And he would actually like to play the main line here with this pawn. This pawn on c3. This pawn belongs on c3, controlling the center and slightly hindering the scope of the black bishop. So this is much better for you. And you see 0-0-0, and this indicates that white lost a portion of his advantage, because in these positions white has slight advantage, like 0.30 or whatever. So at this moment you actually outplayed him slightly, nothing big, but hey, it's a psychological advantage. Let's see, knight c6, well done. Because your knight does belong on c6, you could have c5 in store. I would like to keep that option, but I haven't played Pirc for so long. If knight c6, if this plan works for you, d7, or maybe even knight d7 with pawn storm, like a la King's Indian style, then this is a good move and you're just fine. Now let's see what he played. Bishop e3. Okay, I don't know. Bad move, reckless move. It allows for g4. Computer suggests knight g4 as well. This is a known motif in the Sicilian defense, and I would actually play it, but I forgot how to follow it up. I can't remember if you go f5 after knight g4. You can't actually Actually can't because f pawn is pinned to this bishop, but you can play knight g5, hitting both bishop and the knight. And that exchange actually favors you because you're slightly cramped. You're still on your side of the board. So you could exchange a piece or two. One pair of minor pieces or two is just fine for you. I would go for one because you played better in the opening, and you with one exchange of minor pieces, you would have enough units in the battle, enough pieces to generate threats to fight for advantage, and still have enough space even if you maintain this formation. Even if you maintain this formation, you will have enough space to maneuver. Right now, the way it stands, if you don't grab some more space, he will smother you. Probably with d4 and then d5, or who knows, maybe even e4, e5. He might start attacking immediately. But you're fine. Rook e8, okay. I dislike this move. It's not a bad move, but I don't see the purpose. I mean, Rook e8 supports e5, but you also have e5 supported with these pieces. And actually, he cannot stop you playing e5. So this move wasted the opportunity to play a move that can achieve more for you. I don't know. He wants still, yeah, knight g4. Let's need to see something. Let's say that he plays knight d2. Can you play, yeah, knight g5. And after this, you have slight initiative. Okay, bishop b3, nothing happens badly. But what can I play here? Can I play c5? Okay, c5 is all good. And now, at some point, you threaten c4. Maybe even bishop d7, b5, pawn storm. This is nice for black. For example, you can see the idea. Take this away. This is a nice thematic plan in these positions because this bishop actually is exposed to the pawn avalanche on the queen side, and this knight also. That's what I was talking about when he played knight c3. He committed this knight early, and he actually doesn't have such a strong grip in the center as he would have had he played c3. And don't forget this bishop cuts on this diagonal as well. So this pawn storm augmented with this g7 bishop can be really dangerous for him. And with this exchange of the knight, his king is slightly weakened as well. So you might have even bishop g4 ideas harassing his queen. And if he plays f3, he can weaken the dark squares. Seems like a harmless, innocuous position. It isn't. Already white has to take care about his moves. He needs to be careful what he is doing here. Needless to say, I would always take black here. Okay, castle d3, knight c6, bishop, rook e8. Okay, d4. He tries to grab space. Okay, but this is too early, in my opinion. I don't like this. I don't like this because, again, knight d4. I always keep an eye for this tactic. Then we see that I have bishop g4, putting pressure on this knight. At the moment, his d4 pawn is safe, but he can easily come under fire after this knight moves. But can I play knight d4 here? Let's investigate. Knight d4, knight d4, d5. What do you play? Bishop d3, yeah. This is the strongest move he needs to play. And here, what could I play? Let's see. Once, two, three times attack. 1, 2, 3. I can play bishop g4. I like this. You had 94 here, and you're slightly better, but because you haven't finished development yet, he can defend, and this bishop really holds defense for him. But okay, computer suggests bishop c6. Okay, but although your pawn structure is ugly and you have weak pawns, you do have half-open b file. Never forget about this bishop cutting down this file. Also, you have bishop pair. You have bishop pair, and I would refrain from exchanging the bishops because in the endgame you will actually have huge advantage. So it would be nice to exchange queens and maybe even rooks. Yes, if you could exchange heavy pieces in this position, you would actually have strong chances to win the game because bishops are so powerful. How would you capitalize? You would use their higher mobility than the knight to induce pawn weaknesses on both wings. And then when knight commits to one side of the board, you would switch the bishops quickly to the other, and you would probably win a pawn. That's a general plan. So I would actually aim to exchange heavy pieces, but this is not possible at the moment because there are no open files, so it will be a long fight. Therefore, I would just play calmly, and I'll try to avoid exchanging this bishop for his knight. His knight is also strong. His knight is also strong, but he has no threats at the moment, and even if that knight jumps on e5, well, okay, I can always defend. c5 is also an idea, because if he takes, you can grab this pawn with the bishop, and now then he will have two weak pawns who are doubled. I like black here, although computer claims that this is equal. In a human play, black is slightly better here. Black has slight pressure. Black has a clear plan of playing rook b8 next. c5, even queen d5 is good because you want to take control over this square. Black can also play a5, a4, a3, prying open the long diagonal. Look at this. I mean, when you play c5 and all this, his entire queen side might collapse. And this is not so obvious when you look at a position like this. On the other hand, if you ask White, what is your plan? What will you play? What will you do? Well, White has no active play at the moment. I don't see any active move for White, and all that he can claim for is that he has better pawn structure. So White will probably play c3 to stabilize and to hinder this bishop by creating this pawn wall, and then h3, trying to repel this bishop. But again, we don't want to exchange this wonderful bishop because look at these light squares, they're all so weak. They're all so weak. So White will have to defend here. He can defend, that's why computer gave 0-0. There was a second. So 94 is something that what have I done? D4? Yeah, 94. Does it work? What is going on? This is what we were looking for. Yeah. We had this. Never mind. D5. That's what he played. What about this? In g8, in d3. Does he have knight h7? No, no, he doesn't. I can activate the bishop. Okay, so knight e4 deserves attention. And wait, why am I here? Knight e4 here. No, sorry, I'm slightly tired, so I lose the thread of the game fast. And I'm on single monitor, so I have apparently some issues juggling between the windows. Okay, knight e4. Okay, so it's too early yet. Okay, you play d5. I like this move as well. Thank you, thank you. E5 is good move. So now you grabbed enough space for your pieces. You put the question on this pawn, and it's not easy for white to answer this question. If he pushes, then this d4 square will be weak. I don't recall the theory now, but you will have some knight d4 tactics, because if he takes, he takes with the bishop. At some point, you will have some discoveries with this knight, and this uh, bishop will perform double attack. So it's not so easy for him to decide. Also, pushing the d5 pawn will block the c4 bishop. At that point, you can laugh at him and say, why did you play bishop c4? Wouldn't you like to have your c4, c2 pawn on c4, so you can play in the King's Indian style pawn storm on the queen side? This bishop will have to reroute to some better position, and it won't be so easy, because if the pawn stands on d5, all these pieces will block him, and you actually have nothing on the white squares except these two pieces. So he might play bishop b5, but then you just play bishop d7 and laugh at him, because his bishop will be exposed. a6 might come, and b5, he retreats, and then you can use the Spanish maneuver from the Ruy Lopez, playing knight a5 and c5. Let me try to give me a second. Okay, tools, board editor. Let me try to see if I can copy pen. The pen. Somehow here. Is there a way to get the fan position here? Clipboard, no, download, finish. Okay, I'll just do it manually. Just be patient. I want to show you something that can help you in the future. Clear board. Let me see. Here. I'll have to do it manually. Okay, this is on d4. This is c2. Okay. What else do we have? d6, e5, e7. This king on g8, king on g1, knight f6. Pardon, we have bishop on g7, knight on e6, bishop c8, queen d8. We have rook e8. Okay, this is nice. Let's see, what else do we have? Queen d1. Okay, knight c3, bishop c4, bishop e3, knight f3. Okay, side to move is black. No. Okay, so black is to move. Okay, I haven't created the position. We are still in the board setup. Why? I would like to show you what I'm talking about. On d5, you can play knight f5, bishop e3, and c5. This is a standard maneuver in the Ruy Lopez, but you can borrow it here, because now c4 square will be weak. you will play at some point this, and you have a pawn storm, you have some attack. This is one of the ideas. You don't have to play it, but you can also play knight b8. So I will probably play knight b8 and reroute the bishop on the knight on c5, and it targets this pawn. You play a5 next to prevent b4, to chase away the knight. And now his dark squares are weak. Taking this knight is not advisable for him, because now all the pawns are on the light squares. He has nothing to defend the dark squares. So you might deploy your bishop on h6, and look how annoying he is. He takes away all the good squares from the queen. So he would have to move this knight to make room for the queen to join the game. Maybe knight e1, hoping to hop on d3. This is something that I like to see. But you can play knight g4 here, and it's annoying, because if he plays queen d3, then what is this knight doing on e1? He blocks the coordination of the rooks. He will have to go back. He just wasted the move. Or if he plays f3, then he weakened his squares, dark squares, very dangerously. You can play intermediate move bishop e3, king h8, bishop will drop back. Here you want to play here in order to play, for example, rook b8 and b5 later, but you will put the bishop on d4, and look how mighty this bishop is. So things are not so easy for white. That's what I'm trying to say. It looks like from this position that he is fine. He is knight d7. Knight f4 also works. So it looks like that white is slightly under pressure or whatever, but look at his position. Look how many plans you have as black. You have knight f5, c5, maybe a6, b5, with the pawn storm on the queen side. Then, as you have pointed out, knight h5, f5 at some point, playing King's Indian style, trying to play for a checkmate. You might take on d4, because it will open up your g7 bishop, and there are all kinds of double attacks lurking in the position. White is the one who needs to take care. You, on the other hand, you're carefree. What is he attacking? Nothing. Where does he have pressure? Well, only on this f7 point via knight g5. And frankly, you just need to play rook f8 and you cover that square. So already here, Engine gives 0.48 for white. And with precise play, okay, he might have an advantage. But humanly speaking, when we look with human eyes, it's easier to play this position with black. I would always pick black, even though Engine says it's 0.48, because I see with my naked eye plans for black. I see the moves, I have something. On the other hand, what can white play? I don't see the long-term plan for white. So he played d5. Shouldn't he take? He should have taken. You see the engine. He gave d5 as stronger. First, now he says, hey, d5 is stronger. By the time we finish this stream, God knows, he might say that queen e2 is the strongest. God knows what will happen. So let's continue. d5. Engine gives knight d4 works for you. What I was talking about. This is something that I would like to explore. I can't remember this line, but knight d4 is a thematic move. I just don't know if it works here, but let us explore. I take, he takes bishop. Do I have knight d4? Yes, I do, because, yeah, I do. he can take, and I just drop back with the knight, or this is more precise. Yeah, because I attacked the queen. And let us, yeah, and I'm better here because he has a light squared pawn and a light squared bishop, so you have something to play on in the endgame. You would like to exchange knights in this position and leave the bishops because his bishop is horrible. He has no scope. These pawns hinder his bishop. This one is a permanent weakness, and your king is better positioned to enter the center of the board. So in the endgame, this pawn will fall. Your king is way too active than his. Your rooks will be connected. You will finish development. He has nothing to pose a threat. He cannot stop you by any means. So let us see. So he cannot, but he must. What happens on knight d4? I think that you can play knight d4. Yeah, and now your bishop double attacks. And this is not so easy because on queen d3 you take, and now you spoil his pawn structure. Now he may not enter the endgame because he has this weak pawn and these two. And look at this bishop cutting down on this diagonal. It's really not so easy for him to play this position. This bishop is out of play because this queen blocks him. He has no scope on the queen side. I mean, on this, you play the move. Okay, you might as well play a6 to stop the, yeah, computer suggested a6. You play a6 to stop this bishop from playing b5 because that way he would have a role attacking your rook, and you need this e8 square. You will double your pieces. Here you play rook e7 and rook e8. So you play a6, and this bishop is dead. He has nowhere to go. He has no scope. He doesn't contribute to the game. He's just one big pawn. And look at your bishop. Your bishop will come to f5. Very dangerous position for white. Very easy to misevaluate. The engine is saying it's 0.28. No, it's not, my friend. No, it's not. It's very hard to play this with white. I remember when I was playing Pirc from the white side, it's not so easy. Knight e7. Okay, I would prefer knight b8 to reroute the knight. But actually, no, wait. What does the knight do? B8. Nothing. Knight has no role. No, I think the move in the game is the strongest. But still, okay, you can play knight d4, or as you have played, knight e7. Okay, now you employ King's Indian plan of flinging your pawns on him and just checkmate the guy, because he doesn't have this pawn on c4. He is late. He needs to move two of his pieces, two of his pieces in order to play c4, and start the queen side, play as it is usually done in the King's Indian defense. And this will take him even more time because this pawn is loose, because our knight f6 attacks him. So if he wants to play King's Indian type of setup, he will have to invest a lot of time. You're simply faster. Your only piece that is misplaced in this position is rook. And you just need to play rook f8, and after that you play knight e7, f5, and you checkmate. Very hard to play for him. h3. So he's afraid of bishop g4, but why? Okay. What can we play? Engine suggests c6, and I like it because now we can start the center rolling, and you will simply blow him away from the board. But let's see if I can play rook f8. Let's try to deploy King's Indian plan. Let's see what the best defense for him. Rook e1. let's give engine a little bit of time. I just want to see with best play what happens. With best play, because I think that this can work. This really should work. Bishop d3, okay, so he is going the route I have mentioned earlier. He wants to reposition his pieces to go for the c4, b4, but let's see. Knight h5, on f5. Okay. How will I do this? Knight d7, f5 next, but he has knight g5. Okay, I need to play h6 to. It's a preparatory move because he has knight g5, knight e6 idea. Once you push f5, because this square won't be protected by this pawn. So I have to pay the price. Okay, queen d2 is the entry suggestion. We are not afraid with king h7. Rook a1. Why? Makes no sense. Rook a1. Okay, queen is no longer on d1, which means that if I play knight h5 and f5, he takes, I take, my knight doesn't hang anymore to the queen on d1. So I think I can try and play knight h5. Ah, he has g4. Okay. Okay, he has g4. But what about knight d7? Again g4. Yeah, the point is that so I can't play f5. He will open up my king and I'm cramped. Yeah, that's the point, I'm cramped. So I cannot jeopardize him. Okay, you learn something new every day. I was trying to make this plan with knight d7, f5 work. I didn't understand the position. Okay, the problem here is that our pieces are cramped. They don't have places to go. So we need to make room for them. And let me see. Yeah, so that's why c6 must be played. We need to break this center immediately so we can put our pieces on the more active squares. Okay, so King's Indian plan doesn't work, but c6 does work for you. And although engine says it's 0.15, actually in over the board game, I think that this would be a crucial moment. And if white mishandles, he would collapse in most 5 moves. I know I speak from my own experience because this is a huge psychological shock for white. He plays with white, he wanted to have an initiative, he looks optically at your position and thinks, hey, these are cramped, I'm slightly going to waste time to reposition my pieces, but I'm fine, I will crush him. And all of a sudden c6 gets played and position needs to be opened, and his pieces are not ideally placed for this opening of the center. I mean, d5 is next, and these pieces are on the way of the pawn storm. And then if he doesn't do something, then you'll play d4, forking both knight and the bishop. Since still we are in the middle game, pawn center does play a huge role, and you would have nearly decisive advantage. These pawns will just keep rolling, and psychologically, this is very hard to handle as white, especially if your chess skill is low. So if you are like me, 2000 FIDE Elo, or you are even a FIDE master, this isn't easy. This isn't something you would face lightly. He would sink into thought here and probably would collapse if he makes a mistake in 3 to 5 moves. No more. Okay, let's continue with the game. H3, is this the game? Please, did you actually play c6? Are you kidding me? You actually played c6. I didn't make a mistake. You played this move in the game, right? Laser, are you with us? You played c6 in the game. Because I'm looking at it. You played wow. Wow. All I can say is continue working on chess. You have talent. You have talent. I can't believe you found c6 on your own. Well done. Well done. Taking with the knight. Yeah, I explained to you. I explained to you why taking back with the pawn was better, because now your pawn mass starts rolling. He needs to play something here. Let's see what engine suggests. Bishop b3. Okay, this is the only weakness that I have, and this bishop is really annoying. This is the only problem I see. But this bishop, alright, this knight is weak. Can we play d5? d5. Even though it is not the engine's top choice, you're playing human, not the engine. White, faced with the initiative, will be under pressure. It is very hard psychologically to handle the initiative from black. You're white, you should be the one attacking, especially if he assessed that he is the one who stands better. Now things change. Yeah, f5, f4 doesn't work. Sadly, he has too many pieces to protect his king, and we are cramped. And he has that nasty g4. It's ugly. It's anti-positional, but it works. It hinders f5, and since he has all his pieces mobilized, he can afford it. Okay, but this is very strong. This is very strong. With d4, I'm telling you, although engine claims it's 0.21, over the board, if you are not intermaster with strong, or FIDE master who is booked up at the very least, who analyzed this position before, he would collapse. He would shaking in his pants. This is not easy to face. Well, after c6, you just took with the knight, but yeah, now you have a hole on d5, and you don't have control over the light squares. So his bishop now actually is becoming strong, and he might play a maneuver from the Sicilian defense. Bishop g5, bishop takes f6, trying to capitalize on the fact that you will be left with a bad bishop. So he will plonk a piece on d5, and the position will dominate you, usually with the knight. He will tend to exchange bishop and knight, and yeah, I know, it's okay. We learn from our games. Even I learn from your game. You don't have to learn from your own experience, you can learn from others too. Yeah, so simply taking with the pawn was better. Okay, we learned that now. Okay, knight c6, he played bishop b5. Okay, not a good move. This bishop was wonderful on this diagonal, and he should have tried to preserve it. Maybe a3. I don't think that a3 is bad. But is it? Pompey, what do you say? I have wasted a small advantage, but okay, that's computer. At the very least, he can play a3. He needs to present his bishop on this diagonal. This is very unpleasant, especially with knight g5. But he played bishop b5. What did you play? a6. Okay, I like this move. It can be played. Yeah, a6, nice. Engines, top choice. Top choice. Keep working on chess. On chess, you have talent. You have the feel for the position. Top choice. Engines, top choice. You play that move. Bishop. Come on, man. Okay, this is a bad move. I mean, at least play bishop a4. Bishop a4 to try to preserve the bishop. This was not a good move because now you play with the pawn, and now you get the idea we discussed earlier. It's the pawn roller, and you don't have any weakness in your position anymore because who will attack f7? No one. On the other hand, his pawn is still loose. His pieces are on the way of the pawn storm. Do not forget this long diagonal and this bishop. Although he is passive now, he doesn't respect bishops. Yes, big mistake. He learned that. He learned to respect them. The more stronger opponents he meets, he learned to respect them. Okay, let's see now. What did he play? What can he play here? Nothing. He has no counterplay. His pieces are centralized, but they're actually well positioned to maintain the full center of the board, the full center, the full pawn center. But he is missing a pawn on this square, so he doesn't have full center anymore, and he has nothing to attack. So now he is going into defense, and this is psychologically very important. You see how he is positioned sorry for my English. That word is very hard to pronounce. It goes down. How do you pronounce this word? Deteriorate. Yeah, English. Some words I just cannot pronounce. Although engine says it's equal, it's slightly versatile. If you make one mistake, you will make another and another and another. His position is crumbling down slowly. And now he has no counterplay. This is important for the human aspect, something that engine cannot tell you. He has no counterplay, he needs to defend. And if you play over the board, clock is ticking. Right now he needs to start panicking. He would panic, and I'm telling you, he would probably crumble in 2 or 3 moves. Knight a4. This knight has no role here. Okay, what do you want? Knight b6. Okay, or bishop b6. I can play rook b8 and sack the rook for the 2 pieces if he tries any of these tricks. Or, yeah, or he's dropping this pawn. Can I take? Can I take? Well, why not? I can take on e4, but it's slightly risky. I will play rook b8 here. Rook b8, and if he plays knight or a bishop, any piece on b6, thank you for your compliment. If he puts any piece, bishop or a knight on b6, I would just snap it off. I would snap it off, and I would play with the 2 pieces against the rook. And it's time for a tip. When you have 2 pieces for the rook, you don't want to go into the endgame, and you don't want to. You didn't respect him. Okay, it's not a mistake. And when you have 2 pieces for the rook, side with the minor pieces, keeps the queens on the board, exchanges one rook, the remaining rook it has, and uses minor pieces and the queen to checkmate. Because you practically have an extra piece. You stay in the middle game, you want to eliminate the pawns on the other side of the board so he doesn't get counterplay, you just checkmate him. Side the rook wants to keep the rooks on the board so it can have more firepower and exchange queens. And will seek to trade the rooks when it finds it suitable. And it finds it suitable when minor pieces cannot coordinate. Usually you achieve this by swinging rook from one wing to the other, because usually opponent has a knight, so knight is slow in repositioning, regrouping. So I would take the piece on b6, but knight e4 works too, because he has no, his pieces are optically fine, but they actually are harmless. It's like a toothless tiger. He looks scary, he does roar and whatever, but he doesn't bite. He has nothing to attack. You took the pawn. Bold move, good move. And after this move, if you survive for 2 moves, it's a technical win, because your pawns will start rolling and you'll just blow him away off the board. Bishop b6, queen d7, okay. Yeah, they started to roll. It's time for him to show something for his play. Okay, maybe bishop b7. Queen e6, okay. Not a bad move either. Take, take. Okay, but what do we have now? Bishop c5. Yeah, I told you. He just has no plan. So he'll try to play knight b6, but so he wants to play this to attack the pawn and the rook. You're so strong in this position that you can play bishop b7 sacking the exchange, but it's not necessary. Again, I would play rook b8. Yeah, rook b8. Bishop d7, knight b6. Okay. Knight c5. He blundered the piece. Yeah, and so did I. Yeah, he blundered a piece. Okay, let's see how you finished him off. After this, he has nothing to. He has a rook for the 2 pieces. Okay, so wow. Why, man? What? At least play f4, pinning the bishop against the queen to get it back. You're so strong that you can. Yeah. He blundered. This is it. He lashed out. He snapped psychologically, because human beings are not programmed to fight without counterplay. He just cannot withstand it. Yeah, he just. And yeah, the fork. Take it. Why not? Complete destruction. Yeah, he just got blown away of the board. Wow, nice. This is a nice move. Threatening queen h4, because the pawn on g3 is pinned to the bishop on e5. And of course you saw it, playing like a machine. What else? Queen h3, okay. Bishop g4. Queen h6, nice. f4. Yeah, you just. Okay, this was a blunder on your side. But let me see something. But your move is the engine's first choice. Why? Okay. Rook d8, okay. Oh, this is so crushing move. Just, he won. Excellent play. Excellent play. The only I think the rook e8 is imprecise. It's one moment in the game. Okay, c6, and this is the other moment in the game where, I see. So this is the other point in the game where you made a positional error. Other than that, flawless game. And this was move 11. Okay, so technically you just need to work on your openings a little, but the point was to start take with the pawn, so you can have your pawn mass rolling, mainly d5 pawn. That's what I will do. That's the only takeaway you can get from this game. That's it from me. If you have any question, any comment, shoot. I need to shut up and take a break, just a little. Thank you for the game. It was a good game to watch, and I learned something as well. If there is anyone else on the stream, they can also join in with their games. We can talk about anything if you want. You don't have to stick to one topic. It's Sunday, relax, have fun, enjoy. Okay, let me see. Seems that there is nobody else in the mood to join us to discuss anything. Okay, let us return to the main topic of this stream, and that is preparing the opening repertoire. So let us revise for those who have joined right now. I don't want to work on e4 or for that. Okay, e4 requires a lot of work, and I don't want that because I have a day job and I have obligations in my spare time, so I cannot afford a lot of work on opening theory. d4 is hard to play because you need to adapt yourself to different styles. There are Indian games with knight f6 that are highly tactical. You need to learn how to use space advantage, how to not overextend. And on the other hand, there is d5 that is dull, solid, steady, and positional. And requires again to play typical positions like Carlsbad position, like I don't know, Stonewall position. So if I can make it do without them, I'll be happy. That leaves c4 and knight f3 as the only viable options. c4 is a great move, but again, we have Black has two different styles at his disposal. He can play e5, where White needs to know what he is doing because we have reversed Sicilian, where White actually having a tempo can sometimes squander his advantage. And this really sucks. I mean, I play natural good moves, and just because I'm a tempo up, I have no advantage. To be able to evaluate this requires high level of skills. Thank you for joining the stream. Catch you some other time. Have a nice day or good night. I don't know where are you from. Thank you for sharing your game and spending time with me. Bye. We'll continue. So I don't have enough time nor resources to learn the intricacies of such positions. I don't have a chess trainer. I don't have money to hire a grandmaster. So playing these reversed Sicilians is not something that I would like to do. I would like to play a position that is more forgiving. bit more forgiving for my inaccuracies. So c4 is out of the window as well. Now we have knight f3, and why I like knight f3 is because I can play this scheme, this couple of first moves, against practically anything black throws at me. And this is good for blitz, since we're still fighting COVID. Over-the-board tournaments are suspended until further notice. So I cannot play long over-the-board games like two hours or maybe even rapid. And this is a huge handicap. Why? When you play over-the-board games on slow time controls, like 1 hour for 40 moves and half hour for the rest, whatever, you face your opponent in person. And why is this so crucial? If you lose the game, you stay for post-mortem and you ask him everything that you don't understand. And your opponent will explain to you why you lost and what you should have played in his or her opinion. And this is invaluable. Imagine playing against a grandmaster and he is willing to, or she, they are willing to stay after the game for, let's say, 15 minutes to give you some tips and let you know some tricks. It's invaluable. It's a free lesson. When you play online, time control doesn't matter, because once your opponent finishes the game, he clicks on next and he seeks another opponent. He will not stay to chat with you, to talk about the position. He will not analyze with you. So time control doesn't actually matter. You can play 3-minute games, 1-hour games. You will learn nothing from your opponent because he won't stay after the game. So I have decided to play rapid games, 10-minute games. You have enough time to think, you have enough time to convert the position and to bail out on your own muscle strength if you forget opening line or whatever. And still, it's a short enough game so you can play a couple of them on a daily basis. For such games, this setup is really good because I have like 1, 2, 3, 4 moves that I can pre-move. Our goal would be to make c4 or d4 work, so I can have a simple position and with a couple of more moves being able to play on a pre-move. And with this in mind, let us start exploring the openings and start preparing for the white repertoire. So our first move will be knight f3. We are exploring Grandmaster database on Lichess because chess.com, as I have said, requires you to pay in order to access their opening book. I don't want to do this because this method can be employed by anybody who watches the stream, and I don't want to advocate people to spend money, especially in these hard days, on chess when they can get practically the same information for free. So knight f3, and I will try to explore d5. This is a very common move recommended by Lasker, and that actually killed knight f3. That's why you don't see it at the top level so often. g3, and now I will try to see, we will explore c5, because this is the move I have most trouble against. And I would really like to prepare against it first. c5, c5, okay, bishop g2. We continue with our plan. c5, knight f6, castles, and now we'll take a look at the most aggressive option for black. That's knight c6, where he plans to play e5. And I have chosen to play reversed Greenfield. Why? Well, this position is actually we can do this like this. Okay, now I need to look at the screen. Just give me a little bit of time. I can take. Okay, fine. You don't want to do it? No. Let me see. Maybe you can see this. No, you cannot. You cannot. Okay, never mind. You'll just increase it. Okay. How will I do this? Never mind. d4, knight f6, c4, g6, knight c3, d5. You see that this is very similar to the position I will get after d4. So take a look at this position and these pieces, d4, d5. You see almost the same with the colors reversed. So we are using a well-known idea from Greenfield where white takes, plays e4, d5, for example, knight f3, and we are going to deploy it here. Now we are a tempo up, we are playing Greenfield's defense with white. At this point, this is only an optical appearance on the board. I have white, but I actually play black, and I'm a tempo up. And this allows me to apply known principles and tactics on this position from black side of the Greenfield defense, which will save my learning time. And since Greenfield is one of the strongest replies to d4, once I learn this position, I can switch, I can prepare Greenfield as my black repertoire against d4. So this is the reason why I have decided to incorporate this move into the white repertoire. This way, instead of studying d4, d4 and whatnot, I can technically study Greenfield's defense and I can play Greenfield with white and black. So let us explore. So at this point, we need to start preparing ourselves for the CT4, and I'll do it on this stream. I'll prepare this line, and since I'm tired and I'm already losing concentration, that will be the end of it, and I will continue on the subsequent streams. So I want to take here, and I want to explore e5 because it's the sharpest reply black has. Takes, and c4 starts with a small initiative because black cannot take, his rook will hang. c4 starts a small initiative because knight c3 will come and I will actually start pressing on the d5 because this point is slightly weak, it's loose. So c4, bishop e6, and I like this move because now we need to take a look at this position. Black's queen side is actually weak. It is loose. He's actually very weak on the light squares. He has a strong pawn center. These are very strong, these are very nice, well-developed pieces. These are good, but these are positioned in the center of the board or on the king side. Black actually has nothing to defend queen side. And he has two developed pieces, bishop and the knight, while I have two developed pieces in view of bishop and the rook. But my king is safe, but his king is not. Pardon? His king is not safe. His king is actually on the light squared a4, e8 diagonal that can be attacked by the queen, and we can open up even more light squares with e4. So I like this line precisely because of this. I can attack the king, I can probe the queen side weaknesses, and one more thing, we win the pawn endgame because these two pawns are fighting against against that pawn, and I have a one pawn endgame because my king is very close towards to the center. He can reach center very fast, while his king won't be able to reach the queen side so fast, and even if he does, these pawns will deflect that king, allowing my king to penetrate on the king side, collecting probably some pawns and winning the endgame. So the reason why I chose this position, this opening, is a one pawn endgame, which is very important. When you play against an opponent of similar skill or higher, most likely you will reach the endgame because you won't crush him in the middle game, and hopefully your opponent will not crush you in the middle game either. So there will be an endgame, and this is a good trump to have for the endgame, the ability to create a distant passed pawn. Also, I can survive in the middle game by harassing this weak pawn. So this way I will limit my opponent's options for attacking me in the middle game, and will probably have a smooth transition to the endgame. So without further ado, let us continue analyzing how can we put pressure on black to force him to exchange pieces in order to get us closer to the endgame. So we can exploit this 2 against 1 majority. Knight c3 comes to mind because I attack 3 times. 1, 2, 3. This pawn, he is defended 3 times, but we have bishop g5 with bishop takes f6 idea, removing one of the defender on the table. And this is what I was talking about. White doesn't have enough pieces on the queen side to generate counterplay. He is weak. He needs to castle fast, so he will have to play bishop e7, but then I will simply collect the pawn. He doesn't have any other unit to defend the d5 pawn. So let us see, queen d7 is recommended and rook c8 as a defense. Okay, let's go with rook c8. With rook c8, we have, I like queen a4. I would like to, we have queen a4, we attack the king, we attack all the weaknesses on the light squares. We also attack this pawn, threatening to take. And Once I move the bishop to g5, I will have my rooks coordinated, so rook fd1 can come and rook ac1. Black can defend this pawn only with queen d7. So yeah, and this is the only move recommended. And I would like to take, yeah, so this is a good move. We take, king takes, rook d1, and I have pressure on this d5 pawn. And let's see what is the best move for black. Bishop c5, so he will give me the pawn. Already my initiative pays off. I will also remove a couple of pieces, bringing me even closer to the endgame. Bishop c5. Okay. Let us analyze knight d5. Take. He needs to take. Take. Rook d5, king d6. Okay, and now let's say just drop to d1. He must play rook h d8 to try to seek compensation because this bishop is weak and shuts this rook down. So I need to play something like bishop g5. I like bishop g5, attacking the rook. So I'm forcing an exchange, but I don't actually. He can chase away the bishop. And here is the problem. What he will do next? Have to go. Okay. Okay, I might as well take and play bishop. Aha, rook c1. Nice. Intermediate move that actually attacks the bishop. Okay, bishop b6, bishop e3. Okay, this is a draw. Take rook d2. Yeah, rook d2. And I have a draw. I don't have much. King f2, rook d2. Rook c7. He can take on a2. I can take here. And this is sharp, but it is drawn. Let's check with the engine. Yeah, it is a draw. Okay, so knight to d5 leads to a forced draw. I don't like that. Knight to a4. Let us investigate that. Bishop e7. Let's take that. I need to develop this bishop somehow. Okay, bishop g8. We want to exchange. Let us try to provoke some weaknesses. But he has rook d2. Okay, bishop d2. This black won. Let us turn on the engine to see if we can find the best moves. It's dead equal. Bishop d6, knight c3, knight e7, and this is equal. Okay, I'll stop here because there is no point in analyzing this move by move. We have a position and we play it with our chess knowledge and understanding. I'm satisfied with this position. It's almost an endgame. Rook will come to c1 at some point. They will come off and we'll play the endgame, and I will practice this position against the engine or in blitz at some point. And let's see. We promote this line. And let me see this. Okay, we watch it. this line. Okay, this is all forced. Okay, this is good. This is forced. Okay, at this moment, yeah, this is it. Okay, I like this. I'll try it out in Blitz because I don't have many lines to learn. We still, although it is a dead draw, there are a lot of pieces on the board. It's not so straightforward. I might as well outplay an opponent. So this will have to suffice. This will have to do for now. I will play it like this, then Greenfield style, and see how will that go. Okay, I'm tired, I'm losing my concentration, so let's wrap this up. We are playing from now on knight f3, we are playing knight f3, g3 setup, and we are trying to make it work for all the lines. In order to spare time working on the lines, in order to have something solid, Cathode castles are very safe. You won't be checkmated, you're safe, you have first 4 moves figured out so you can pre-move them, and we are aiming for middle games that have some life in them and are simple to play. We don't seek crazy tactical skirmish. So for this stream, I'm satisfied with this line that you have prepared for white. I will play this and hopefully outplay my opponents in the end game. That's it for me for now. If you want me to take a look at the game, I have enough strength to go through one game. And that's pretty much it. So speak now or wait another stream. It's Sunday today, so I will stream tomorrow in the same time, and I will update my schedule to reflect that, so you can organize yourselves accordingly if you want to attend the stream. Whoever joined, thank you. LaserGod123, thank you for the following. Thank you for showing us the game. It's very educational, very educational for me as well. Very entertaining. And with this, I bid you farewell. Until next time. Stay safe. Don't get COVID. Bye.